great to see everyone who passed it through the break and came back. We're really excited to be here. As we've been presented as, I'm Natalie and this is Annat. We both work at a startup called Photomyne. I'm in charge of the design and user experience, and Annat is in charge of content and customer success. Now, when we were first approached to give this talk tonight, a lot of topics came to mind, because the first year of a startup is always very hectic, and it's filled with mistakes and lessons to be learned. But eventually, we decided to talk about one of the most important topics when establishing a company, and that's getting to know your audience and their patterns of use. And this is actually to get the best product market fit. So before we start, we feel we should explain what Photomyne is. So let's see just a 1-minute movie of the product. So as you saw in the movie, Photomyne is a mobile application, and it uses your mobile device as a scanner for scanning old paper photos. So with the app, you can take a picture of a whole album page that contains a few photos, and the app can identify and then crop them into individual photos, and then save them in a digital album. So in a matter of minutes, you can have a whole album scanned and digitized. And the more dedicated users can scan their whole photo collection that contains maybe thousands of photos in just a few hours. Now, once the photos are digitized and arranged inside the app, you can do all sorts of things with them. You can share them. You can maybe print more copies of the original album and give other family members. And the app deals with that aspect as well. Now, as for scope of activity, the app has been out on the market for just a little bit over a year. It's been downloaded 1.5 million times so far worldwide, and about 25 million photos have been scanned with the app. So even though we feel this is just the beginning of our journey, this is enough scope to learn from to better optimize our product. Now, when speaking of optimizing, I'll always have this analogy in my head of a business or service of the physical world, such as a restaurant, because here it's really easy to understand what kind of feedback we need and how to gather it and do things with it. So, for example, if we were restaurant owners, we could see the people coming inside the restaurant with our eyes. And we could see if they're maybe business people or families. We could see if they come in to celebrate an event or maybe just grab a bite to eat. We could see what times they come into the restaurant and what dishes they order. And then we could play around with our service. We could maybe change dishes on the menu, change the opening hours, maybe play around with the lighting just a bit, and then see how this affects our business and our customer satisfaction. So this is relevant, of course, for physical businesses and services. But what happens when your service is digital and you can't see your customers with your own eyes? So first, when we launched Photomyne, this is pretty much how we felt. We felt we were blindfolded. We felt we were in the dark because we saw people were downloading the app. We saw the numbers, but we had no idea who these people are. and why they're downloading the app and how exactly they're using the application. And this was super important for us to further develop our business. We had to know really fast what we were doing right and what we were doing wrong and had to improve. So this was actually the first thing we did after launching, was looking for feedback and learning from it.
But before actually starting to get insights, we first had to define what exactly we were looking for. So our first must-know insights were, whose hands are these? Or in other words, who are the people who are actually using the app? Are these people predominantly young? Are they older, middle-aged? Are they tech-savvy or tech-challenged? Do they use the app as a one-time thing for a special event, or as a tool for an ongoing project to scan their entire photo collection? And the bottom line was we wanted to know who's using the app, why, and in what way. And these insights were the key to our success. So let's begin. Now, the burning question is, of course, to know how to get this feedback and data and what to do with it in order to improve the product. So we'll show you how we do just that. And we do this without usability teams and without extensive persona research. After all, we're a small startup company that needs to justify its existence fast. And as with most startup companies, time and resources are almost always limited. But we're happy to say that it's absolutely possible. So here are 3 examples from our work routine. Now, this first example is about understanding the numbers. So this one's pretty obvious to look at the data. The challenge, though, is to know how to analyze the data that you get within the context of the special characteristics of your product. So, for example, in our case, our app is a paid app, and this requires a slightly different analysis than a free app. So what did we do to better understand the data? We implemented user events that we found particularly crucial. So apart from the obvious number of app downloads, we also look at the number of photos users scan. We look at the day of the week they do this, even the time of day. And we also look at the frequency at which they come back to the app each time. Here's an example of our data analysis. We realized pretty fast that out of all the users who downloaded the app and paid $5 for it, 60% didn't even scan a single photo. Now, we couldn't wrap our heads around this one. These were people who actively decided to spend $5 on an app, and then they don't even try it. Now, if the same people were to scan one photo and then quit the app, we could conclude that something with the product was at fault. But this wasn't the case. And although there were 40% of people who did scan photos, we felt there was an unfulfilled potential with these dormant 60%. So we assumed this is what we call the gym effect. Here's what I mean. People may look at this Nike ad and feel like they should be healthier, fitter, more toned. So they go and they buy a gym membership, but in reality they're too lazy to go, so they end up having a service they paid for that they're not using. Well, with Photomyne it's kind of similar. People may like the idea of scanning their old photo albums, so they download the app, but then in reality they never get a chance to get around and do it, or they haven't had a chance to do it just yet. Maybe they don't have the photographs with them. Maybe a family member living far away has these photographs. Maybe they need to climb up the attic and start going through boxes. This takes time. So we felt like people like to tell themselves that whenever they want to, the app option is there. But we felt like we needed to offer them a stronger incentive to start scanning, because our goal as a company is to have a product that people keep using and keep coming back to. So we decided to try and imitate what actual gyms do, and that's to contact their customers to remind them that there's a service they paid for that they're not using. So we incorporated an email reminder option right into the onboarding process of the app, because we wanted to catch users right from the beginning, and we didn't want to lose the momentum. So here's our onboarding process. After we show a short how-to intro video, we ask users if they're ready to scan right away, or if they want to scan later. If they choose the option to scan later, we then invite them to sign up for an email reminder, which we send out the following weekend. And here's that email reminder. Now, we choose the weekend as the timing for this because that's when there's likely more free time to gather the photographs and to start experimenting with the app. And once we have users' email address, we keep engaging them with additional emails that are triggered by behavioral events within the app, such as completing the first album, scanning more than 100 photos, and so forth. And these engagement emails really pay off. So if we go back to that previous example of 60% of users who didn't scan a single photo, thanks to these engagement emails, we've managed to reduce that number down to 40.
Okay, so now to our second example. And this is listen to what users say and how they say it. And by this, we're talking about our support email. You know, you don't have to do much to get people talking. You just have to give them an address, and then mails come pouring in. Because people are always happy to complain about issues that bother them, ask questions, make recommendations. And this is really great for us because these people are not answering questions we ask them. They write to us on their own will. And they bring to the table topics that we didn't always think about as problematic. So this is our support email inbox. This is just a simple Gmail account. And this serves as our CRM system for now. It's really lean, simple, but it's good for a startup at our stage. And the content here is really priceless. We try to arrange this as neatly as possible. So every significant email gets a label according to topic. And this helps us to track and measure and find patterns of problematic issues. So the next time we'll work on a new feature or improve an existing one, we can drill into a specific label and investigate the issues more closely. Now, another interesting thing about this inbox is that it really helps us to understand where our product is at every given moment. So, for example, at the beginning, we used to get a lot of beginner questions. And that was natural because our product was new, and all the users were first-timers. But after a while, we started seeing that we get more advanced questions. And that made us happy. Then we understood that some of our users are returning users. They use the app over time. And that reflected on our product as getting more mature and more advanced. Now, when reading these emails, it's really important to distinguish between what the users write and what they actually mean, because users don't always know to ask what they don't know about. And it's our role to find out what they really mean. So let's try to illustrate this with the next example. So inside the app, we have this top card that offers our users to join our premium plan. And this is actually a cloud service that enables users to have their photos stored in our cloud for backup and storage purposes, and also to access them online from any computer. But when this card appeared inside the app, we used to get questions like these. This one says, in order to store my scans on a DVD, I need to mail the images to myself, but can't see how this is done. Another example is, I have dozens of old family photos. How can I move these from my Photomyne collection to a disk so I can share them with my children? And another similar example is, I want to know whether it is possible to back up my scans on a hard drive. So with these three examples and many more like these, we could gather two interesting points. The first is that our audience is not very tech savvy. These are kind of traditional users that rely on physical means, such as a hard drive or a CD or a DVD, to store their photos. They had no idea what cloud meant. And the second thing is that there was a common need for all of these mails, and these people just actually needed an easy way to transfer photos from the app to their computer in order to burn the CD. But none of them asks for that explicitly. We understood that between the lines. So when we went back to this offering, we thought to ourselves, this is exactly what our users need. If photos are stored in the cloud, they can access them from their computer and then do whatever they want with them. Put them on the CD, we don't care. But our users had no idea what these terms meant. They had no idea what unlimited backup meant or access anywhere. So we understood we had to present this feature differently in a way that our users could understand. So now when we present this feature in the app and on our website, we're a bit more explicit about what it means. So we show this huge photo of a woman using Photomyne on her computer alongside with her phone. And we use very explicit terms and say access photos in the app and on your computer. This is exactly what our users are looking for. So ever since we started using this term, access from your computer, our users understood much better what our offering meant, and also this, of course, improved the conversion of our subscription. So just to conclude this example, I wanted to show you this daily report that our support team sends to the rest of the Photomyne team every day. And this is a summary of the feedback we got in the last 24 hours. And this is a blend of support emails we received, comments that people make on our Facebook ads, reviews on the App Store, anywhere we could read some kind of comment about Photomyne's experience. Now, this is really important for everyone on the team to feel the pain points of the product. And then everyone on the team, whether he's a developer or a designer or a marketing person, can understand how their specific work could contribute to the end result and the end experience.
Okay, this third example is about forming an exclusive community of early adopters. Now, going back to those user events we talked about before, these gave us very important quantitative metrics that we could look at and measure. But we still had a lot of qualitative questions that these metrics couldn't address. And we felt that the only way to get answers to these qualitative questions was by somehow creating an environment where we have an open and continuous dialogue with real users of the app. And this ties in well with fulfilling a fantasy that a lot of startups share. Imagine gathering your top 1,000 most enthusiastic power users of your product in one room and having a chat with them. Well, this is what we did. And we used a very simple tool for this, and most of you are familiar with, and that's Facebook groups. This is an email that we send out to all the users who scan 100 or more photos, thereby sort of proving themselves as power users. And we invite them to join a closed Facebook group that we call Photomyne Experts. So what we've essentially done is create this sort of an exclusive club that users feel proud to be part of, and we in turn have this goldmine of insights that we can keep tapping back into. And it's the perfect environment for us to have that continuous open dialogue with real users of the app. And this allows us to learn about how real people are using our product. So here are a few examples of the things that go on in this group, which we learned turned out to be almost like a live organism. So this user posted a question in the group talking about her struggles with having reflections in her scans, asking for tips. Now, before we even had a chance to reply, other group members jumped in and offered her assistance and shared their tips and tricks. And here, another group member shared this rather funny photo of his special technique of avoiding direct lighting over the photographs. And he went into great detail to explain how he does this. And here, another group member posted this photo she found on Pinterest showing an improvised device to help keep the phone steady while scanning. Here's another example. Another group member wanted to share the things that she does with the photos after she scanned them with the Photomyne app. And this totally blew us away. We didn't even expect this. And here are a couple of examples of the ways that we learn about how real people use our product. So this is a poll question we posted asking group members about the main reason behind downloading the app in the first place. We wanted to know what was the main reason for using it. Now, we initially assumed that the main reason was to back up their photographs or to use the app for a special event. However, to our surprise, we learned that their main concern was actually to have the photos readily available for browsing and for sharing. And here, after we localized the app and added 5 additional languages, we asked group members for feedback on the translation. Now, of course, we used professional translation service for this, but we wanted to get another corroboration by real users of the app using it in their respective language. And as you can see, they happily gave it. Now, since we wanted to maintain that sort of a VIP club sort of feel to keep users more engaged, we decided to hold a Q&A session. And with the Facebook group option, it's very easy. We just created an event within the group. We invited group members to join. And once the session went live, we posted this photo of me and Natalie here so they have a face behind the name. And for a whole hour, we chatted with the group members, we answered their questions, and we got a lot of insights. And we felt that these Q&A sessions are a great way to make the Photomyne brand more accessible and approachable. And on the other hand, create this environment, a very casual and relaxed environment where users can freely voice their concerns, their questions, and their praises. So as you can see, using the Facebook groups option is a super lean way of forming that exclusive club of early adopters.
So as a closing note, it's a bit of a cliche, but it's so true, that building the product is really the easy part, because we're all professionals. I mean, we're trained to do this. This is what we know how to do. But the hard part is understanding what we should build. And our users have these answers. So we should make the effort to gather the feedback and find the right insights to understand what to build. Now, Photomyne, as I said before, is out in the market for just a little bit over a year. And so far, we had about 7 iterations of the product. So this means about every 2 months, we try and release a new version. And each time, it's based on feedback like this to improve our service. So thank you for listening. Annat and I are available on social media if anyone has any questions. And you're welcome to try out Photomyne. It's currently available on the App Store. And on Google Play, we currently have a very lean beta out there. But a broader release is planned in a few weeks. We're also always looking for excellent people to join our team. So if anyone's interested, please leave us a note. Thank you.